how time-consuming this is.
I know.
But that's the whole song. The whole mix is just 4 tracks. That's what it is. Every time you look at it, you're like, "That's it? That's the whole mix?" It's like, "Yep."
I know. What's happening, everybody? How's everybody doing? We've got a little bit different setup happening today.
Yes.
I'm probably blocking him a little bit, actually.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Look, I am totally. Hold on. See, I'll pull back here a little bit. This is gonna be a fun one. We're gonna have some fun today, a lot of fun. But first, before we get to today's fun, there's a couple things I wanted to talk about. Now I'm forgetting. Now we're going. Oh, one thing. We've got a couple songs from the studios coming up. And I was going to have a little clip of the vocal session from this last Tuesday today, but we have so much going on that we're not going to do that today, but I will put a little trailer up sometime in the next week before the next episode, because Sophia Mojo came in and absolutely killed it, right?
Oh,
I mean, just
amazing.
I'm going to move back so you can see
amazing.
Just slayed it. It was one of the most fun vocal sessions I've had in a long time. And that's saying a lot, because all the vocalists we've been fortunate to work with are kick-ass. Everybody is. But this one with Sophia is so different. I think you guys are going to really dig it. And right now we're slated for, I think, the 22nd, for the first episode of that series to come out. So that'll be really cool. The snare video, I'm going to call it a snare video. That wasn't my intention for it to be. The video that went out a couple weeks ago with all the snare drums it was interesting seeing some of the comments and what people were listening to. I found that really interesting, because that was my whole point with that video, was to not necessarily go, "Hey, this is a killer snare," or not. It was, what did a different snare do to the music? And that one Superphonic, I actually added a bunch of low end in it to try to make it a little muddy with the bass on purpose, But there was some interesting takes on what people liked more than the others. There's some for the piccolo, there was some for the 5, there was some for the Superphonic, which is awesome. I mean, that means everybody's got their own tastes, which is really, really cool. What else? Oh, the last songs from the studio update. Yesterday we filmed song number 4. So song number 3 is in the editing process. Will start coming out on the 22nd. Song number 4 went in the bag yesterday, minus vocals. Steve DeLuca's joining us again. Minno Verbaten on bass again on that one. And I think you're going to enjoy that one as well. We've got a couple really cool ones coming up. Actually, that was song 5. Song 4 is a different one featuring another great singer, Alex Calise. It's like, holy crap. And, okay, I just about blew today's big surprise. We got a big one. This is going to be fun. I'm going to go ahead and do this now. I can't wait anymore, because the person that I'm going to introduce now is actually going to be on Songs from the Studio number 4 doing double drumming with me. Ladies and gentlemen, flip to the GoPro. We got to get both these guys in here. How and Tao. I'm going to move out of the way. We're getting the band back together. These guys are in town from Taipei for a couple weeks. Came in for NAMM. We're doing another live stream. Hal's going to play instead of me. Tao is back there running the show for us, which is awesome. And we've been having a lot of fun today. A lot of fun. Minus me yelling. But other than that, it's been a lot of fun. How you guys doing? Everybody good? Hopefully so. So today's little experiment, we thought it would be fun to actually do some recording on one of these console side chats, because it's been a while since we done a live stream where we were recording actual music. We had a little demo here and there. And since Hal was going to be in town and I could just sit here and man the station, get him to play for me, we figured this is a perfect time to do it. We put the votes up. I was surprised on what what won out over a few things. I tried to mix it up a little bit. I know a few people asked me why I didn't have a certain mic in a category, and I was just trying to mix things up a little bit, because I think we'll do this more, and as we get other mics to use, we'll kind of just mix things up a little bit. So our choices today, the winners The drum set was the Heil PR48 for the kick, the Roswell Pro Audio Mini K67X for the overhead. The bass was the Heil PR30. The guitar was another 67X, Roswell Pro Audio 67X. Acoustic was the 47, right? Mini K47.
Okay. Yep.
And that's it. That's our setup, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's what we're gonna demo. We're gonna record this short little song. It's the same song that we did with the. I'm gonna delete our. We'll do those again. It's the same song we did for the Mini 67, the Mini K67X little test. So you get a little acoustic, got the electric. Hal's gonna do a drum solo. It's gonna blow your minds. I got a really dirty look right there. So I'm still gonna make him do a drum solo though. So without further ado, what do you say we do some recording?
Yeah, let's do it.
How's everybody doing? I can't see the computer. I didn't want one sitting in front of me.
South Wales, New York.
Ooh, sweet.
Awesome.
Alex. I was surprised too, and I haven't used that one in a while. So, and we're not going to do a lot of. This is going to be pretty natural recording. We're going to do mainly no EQ. I do have a little compression on the bass when we get there just because the two parts are so different, which is a Golden Age Comp 3A Junior. And I have a tiny bit of high mid EQ on the kick just to add a little cut through on there, and that's it.
Alex is asking, do you have the Tommy Lee kit that goes upside down for the solo?
Oh, dude, that would be cool. I wonder if we could do that in the studio.
Well, you would have to increase the ceiling a lot.
I wonder if we got one of those little Sears kits, like the the tiny kitty ones, and we just hung it upside down and we just like went back and forth on a jib. I'm down for trying that. I don't know if we have enough insurance for that. Okay, I'm gonna unmute the drums here. So first off, Tao, can you flip over to the drum cam? Let's say hi to Hal. Hal, you hearing me okay, buddy? Okay, good. So here's our setup. I didn't get a photo of the top of the kit, unfortunately, but where it's placed is it's pretty much splitting the toms and the cymbals, and it's facing down right about towards the beater. Is that right, Hal? Yes. Yeah, cool. So we're trying to get it even as we possibly can on the kit to make it easier for Hal to balance everything, because when you do these minimal mic setups, it all comes down to the drummer. And the Heil, the PR40, is about, I would say, 1.5 inches, 2 inches inside the hole. So we can get a nice low end and a little punch as well. Actually, dude, why don't you just play the kit just a little bit? Let's just get an idea what it sounds like. Nice. So the drum setup, the Ludwig Classic Maples, which we on the GoPro. All right, I'll talk on the GoPro. The Ludwig Classic Maple kick, 24, 13, 16-inch toms, Black Beauty 6.5 by 14 snare. The cymbals, all my Peisty Pies, 2002 22-inch ride. The crashes are Dark Energy Mark 1s, a 17 and an 18. And which hi-hats did we leave out there? Was it the... okay, it's the 15-inch Modern Essentials, which are my freaking favorite. I absolutely love those. All right, so we're going to do... Let me get Ernesto turned on here. What do we got?
It's JS says, I would pay a few bucks to see a set spin upside down. Please just keep your clothes on.
You know what? I like the challenge. I think I'm going to work on that. It's going to end up being a Jackass movie video. It's going to go so wrong. It'll be great. Are you on, Ernesto?
Yep.
Oh, wait. I got the wrong... Play? Okay. Okay, so this guitar, which we on camera over here. Oh, we're on Ernesto. Okay, good. So what we're doing right now is scratch electric guitar. And then we're going to go in and do the acoustic after that and replace that, and then we'll build the bass and the electrics back up. So how are you hearing Ernesto okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll change the tune. We'll go.
Dude, I just hear Tenacious D when I hear that. And then Hal turns it into a jazz song. I just hear Jack Black singing. It's an Tenacious video. Oh, that's great. Okay, let's do this thing. Let's get a take. All right, you guys ready? Oh, hold on 1 second. There's one important thing that you should always do, guys, when you're recording. Save your project.
Yeah. Before you record.
Before you record, yeah.
Because then you get the big questions like, where are my files? Because the computer is stupid. Remember that. Computer is stupid.
I blame everything on the computer.
Yeah.
I've never once made a mistake. It's the computer constantly makes mistakes. All right, you guys ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, here we go. Ooh, nice and delicate. That was good. Let's do one more.
What a pro.
Mas. Let's do one mas. You ready?
Yes.
Here we go.
1, 2, 3, go.
Jazz hands. Cool. You got a preference since you got to play to it?
I think the second one was cool because he added a fill in the middle of the
Second one it is.
Yeah.
That was an easy decision.
so that I don't get lost.
You got me now?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give Hal a big round of applause for helping us out today.
Yeah, that's right.
That's my boy.
What a pro.
And I got a solo. Those toms sound really good in that. I want to, yeah, hey, can you help Ernesto flip that camera in there so we can do a little acoustic? And I want to, Alex brought up, here, I'm going to point, where to say, yeah, okay. Which camera are we on? Can we go to this guy? Shay. Alex brought up a point that I kind of want to expand on, that how much imprint the room itself puts on the sound. And yeah, this room definitely has a distinct sound for sure. But that, I think that's going to be the case with any room that you're in if you're using a minimal mic setup. So if you're using, you know, in this case, 2 mics or even 3 or even 4 mics, where your overheads or some sort of mono source in front of the kit needs to try to pick up the whole kit, the room becomes a huge part of that sonic imprint. And sometimes that's a good thing, and sometimes it's not. And a lot of it's going to depend on the type of music you're trying to record, how many layers that you want to have. You notice when you saw Hal playing, we've got baffles on both sides. We did sound check with none, and even the one overhead that's literally, that overhead comes up to what, about your neck when you're standing up? So it's about your eyes. So it's a little bit higher than, I think I did it to make him comfortable. If it was me, I would have brought it down probably another 6 or 8 inches. But it's not necessarily the most comfortable thing that, you're playing. You got a microphone right in your face. But even though that mic is pointing straight at the ground where there is carpet, it is still going to get a lot of the room because you're trying to gain it enough to get the entire kit. If you put that mic out in front, then it's seeing everything behind. The mic is looking at everything behind you as well. So it might be one of those cases if you're doing this type of recording where you need to try to tighten a room up and just use whatever you have. You could put blankets around everything. Matter of fact, we used to hang, before I had the baffles, we would take mic stands and I would just hang big blankets over them, and we would place them all around the kit just to tighten things up a little bit. On the flip side, maybe you're recording something where you want to hear the sound of the drums in a space, and you don't need to do any of that. But it definitely, you can hear the imprint of the room. Alex is completely correct of hearing that in this one mic overhead. So, all right, so that was our PR48 Roswell Pro Audio Mini K67X. So many numbers to remember with these microphones. I wish they'd start giving them names like Bill and Fred and Ted. That would be so much simpler to remember.
All right, acoustic time?
Yep.
Let's see.
You already flipped the camera?
Yeah.
Sweet. Kind of?
Yeah.
How is it? I think that'll work.
Okay.
I can tell you it's a lot of fun having these guys back in the studio. I wish you were staying longer. Next time you bring your dogs so you want to stay longer. That's what you got to do. All right, I'm going to turn the drums.
Bringing my dogs here is easy, but when you fly back to Taiwan, it's gonna be.
Oh, yeah.
Okie dokie, here I am.
I'm going to mute his mic in here. Ernesto, can you hear me?
Yep.
Do you want to do just a quick run through of kind of where the mic is and why, or
Yeah, sure.
that sort of thing?
Okay, so am I in shot?
Yes.
All right. So here we have the Mini K47 pointing around 15, 17, pretty much, and you obviously got to make sure that the grill is actually pointing, because before the grill was there, so you're not gonna get anything. So always make sure the grill is in line, right, with where it's pointing at, and then stay away from the hole, because this is what's gonna happen.
Which, the funny thing with that guitar isn't as boomy.
Yeah.
Because even when you're on the hole, it's kind of warm, but that
Yeah.
is a position that can definitely
Because
get out of hand.
yeah, the moment you whack the strings, start really hitting it hard, you're gonna clip that mic no matter what.
Yep.
And and then pretty much like experiment with the distance, so if you don't have headroom on your mic pre, because over here we got a console that has like 130 dB of headroom, but if you don't, yeah, just get a little closer, just make sure you don't crank the gain too hard on your smaller interfaces, because you get a lot of ambience, right? And you get hiss if it's a more affordable interface. So all those things make the guitar, especially the acoustic guitar, sound worse.
Yeah, if you're having to, some of the more affordable interfaces, if you have to push the input up towards its max, they do tend to have a little bit of noise.
Yeah.
And the same rules apply for the acoustic guitar as with the drums. When you have a single mic on something, and honestly, this is how I prefer to record acoustic guitar. But when that single mic is on there and you have a delicate performance, you are going to have to gain that a bit more. So the room becomes very much a part of the sound. Today, we're not doing anything around him. There's not even a carpet underneath Ernesto. It's completely literally live off the floor.
Yep.
But if you get too roomy, or you find that as you gain the mic pre up to get an acceptable level for your recording, that maybe your room noise is too much, maybe find a room that's a little more dead or a little bit quieter. You know, sometimes I'll even use the ISO booth, and you can record in there. Like if we're doing a very intimate nylon string type recording where you are not playing very loud, I'll put them in the ISO booth where it's nice and dead, and you get that mic right up on the guitar, and it's very, very nice. In this case, Ernesto's not cranking loud today on it, but he's playing at a decent normal volume, and we're just going to let it be live in the room.
Yeah.
Another thing about the Mini K47 is it does a pretty good job of mitigating a lot of excess room. It's a tighter pattern, a little bit tighter pattern than some cardioid mics, which makes it very useful, especially if you're in a room that maybe you don't really want as much sonic imprint from. This mic could help you out.
Yeah. And obviously, if you're having an arpeggiated part, so you have to always control your volume, because if later you go to a big
You just completely clipped it.
that's what happens. So that's what it sounds like. So you gotta make sure that depending how close you are, same like vocal technique, depending on how close you are to the mic, always make sure the moment you get louder, just be aware that you're gonna clip the mic. So
Alex, thank you, sir. Really appreciate that.
wow. Did they give us a couple of cents?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Alex, man.
Alex, you rule.
Yes, very much appreciate that. You know,
You rule, man.
if you enjoy all the videos and stuff and they help you out, we'd love to keep bringing you more and getting more gear to show and use. So any little bit helps. Thank you very, very, very much.
I mean, we had to actually call How and Tao, especially from Taiwan. So they actually came, especially with a chartered plane.
This morning.
Yeah, this morning, right? So they actually came specially for this live broadcast.
Yeah, earlier when I said they showed up for NAMM, that was not right. They didn't show up for NAMM. They saw videos that I sent them of NAMM.
So they came
Okay.
extra for this. All right,
Let's do this thing. So we're going to double this guitar too. So this first one, and then we'll double it out.
let's do it.
All right, here we go.
See, this is what happens when you hit the wrong chord. Yep.
You want me to punch you in there?
No, let's do it again.
Okay, from the top. Oh, and yeah, those hits not quite as salty. All right.
Did that work?
Yep, I think that works for
Excellent.
our purposes. Now I got to set up 1C4. Input faux. Now normally I would probably use a little bit of compression on this. I'm not today because we just want to except for the bass guitar, just kind of hear how things sound. And Ernesto's doing a pretty good job of balancing the sound on his own. So if you don't have ways of using compression during the tracking, don't worry about it. Just set your levels, not too hot, so you leave a little bit of headroom. You avoid that digital clipping, and you can do a little bit of that after the process, or after the recording process. All right, you ready to double? Hold on, I got to make sure. Talk to me again.
Hello.
Oh, there we go. Okay, here we go.
So wait, hold on.
Oh, tuning.
No, gotta make sure I hear myself against the drums. See, so you gotta learn to use the headphone remote, right? Very important. Always learn that. All right, let's do it.
So are you hearing yourself?
Yep.
Okay. Here we go.
Second half. Sorry, it's the second half. We have to do it, right?
And you wrote this song.
Yeah. Yeah, I come in with the rhythm.
Okay, I'll start you just when at the beginning.
Yep.
All right, there's our doubled acoustic. This mic, it doesn't shock me that a lot of people picked this one. It's a really good microphone for acoustic guitar, especially if you want it to be articulate. So if you had, Ernesto, you want to come in?
Yep.
So if you had you want to go back over? Oh, you're already there. Shit, man, he's on top of it. If you had a guitar, say that's maybe a little, especially if it's a little darker, a little boomy, the Mini K is a really nice choice of microphone for that, because it will mitigate a little bit of that boominess and it'll pick up some of that articulation. This sounds pretty good. What do you want to do now?
Bass.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Gotta take care of the low end, man.
The amp should be on, right? Oh, there we go. Just play a little bit so I can get a level. Now, I highly recommend using a good set of headphones or your studio monitors, because if you're listening off your phone speakers, right now it probably looks like he's fake playing, because you're not going to... There is a little mid-range cut in there. I'm not EQing. There is a little compression from the Golden Age Project Comp 3A Junior, and I dig the Junior, especially on bass. But I'm not hitting it very hard. It's just going to catch some peaks. Okay, now first off, Dr. Tao, can you pull up the photo of the polytone so they can see where we have our mic? There we go. He's a doctor. What can I say? So that you can see, I'm sorry, I'm having to look behind me because that's where you can see it in the GoPro. So we have it, I've got the mic, the PR30, just a little bit off center. This polytone, the Mini Brute 3, is one of my absolute favorite amps on bass. There's a couple different switch settings. There's like a dark, low, medium, and high that give you a bit different tonal character. And I'm in the medium setting, so it's a little bit darker, and then I'm using the EQ in the mid-range to kind of bring out a little bit of that pick. If you put it on the bright setting, it'll jump out. If we were doing something more aggressive, I would probably go with that. But since this isn't that aggressive, and I know Ernesto's playing with the pick, we'll have that in there. I didn't go with the bright setting, and I'm slightly off center of the cone just so we can get a little bit of that extra low end. The PR30 actually is a really good mic for bass. The low end is smooth, but it's also going to be kind of tight. So especially if you're doing rock or something that has aggressive bass, this is a good mic to try on there. But the mid-range is also going to cut, but also be a little bit smooth. It's great on, which is why it's nice on toms, and even works well on a vocal. So, all right, without any further ado,
Sean just gave us $9.99.
Sean, thank you.
Oh man, you rule.
Really
Thank you,
appreciate
guys.
it.
Jesus.
Okay, let me make sure I've got you panned in here. Okay.
That's two Chipotle, right?
Yeah.
Well, depending on the menu.
Yeah.
Oh, here, before you play, Brent asking, are you using a DI on the bass along with the mic?
No, not today. If I'm trying to think before I say something and immediately contradict myself. Most of the time, I'll take both. But for today's purpose, no, we're just doing the amp. But if this were a regular session, yeah, I'd have a DI there as well for sure. Because you could reamp later if you wanted, or a lot of the times you get that nice low end from the DI and you get all the fun character stuff from the amp, and you just blend them in and it together, and it sounds really nice. But today it's just the amp, nothing else. And sometimes we have done a few sessions that way, where we just said, screw it, if there's a mic on the amp, just take that and that's it. And we've done the opposite, where we just took a DI. All right, you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, I'll give you a click at the top and then I'll kill it.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Man, that is one nice cymbal swell. So real quick, because we didn't really demo the bass, play a little bit of the bass tone so they can just hear it by itself. Plus some low notes, yeah. That's a bass solo by a guitar player. Yeah, okay, so the couple things with that's actually kind of cool that you did that. What camera are we on? This guy? You can hear this mic does a really nice job with the bottom. It's tight, and I am pushing the low end on this amp a little bit. It's one 12-inch speaker. It is a really nice sounding low end amp. So there is plenty of bottom coming off of it, but this mic is tight enough to where even when you start doing that picking, you can still hear the bottom and you still get some of the... Yep, and that's combination obviously of player, but then of the amp and the mic as well. So the PR30 makes a fantastic bass amp mic. Really nice. It's a pretty versatile mic actually.
Yeah, there is.
Could be overheads also, especially if you're doing live. Oh man, PR30 on overheads, you won't hear anything around you. The pattern is so tight, it's great.
There's gazillion questions about this bass.
Oh,
This
go to
is
here's. You're in
Yeah.
that camera.
so Fender Jazz bass, right? But here's the big but.
Oh,
So Fender Jazz bass, right? Like it says right there, you can see it. Fender Jazz bass, but made in. Anybody's guess? Ah, yeah, with M, right? Starts with an M. But what did I do? I changed the pickups, right? So everything is stock. Everything is stock. So the electronics, everything is stock. But I put some Aguilar single coils in it. So it's not active, still passive, but huge difference on the pickups. Before it was unusable. Now it's like, yeah,
yeah. The stock pickups were
horrendous.
at garbage.
Yeah.
actually.
Very too low. You couldn't do anything with it.
Yeah,
So
and
now
that
it's
was
like-
really muddy.
Yeah, and now it's just nice.
Okay, so that's our bass. We got something there?
I have a Mexican telly and the pickups suck. Well, yeah, that's usually the thing with guitars, right? And basses. You can have, let's say, an instrument that looks great, right? And then besides what it says, made wherever it was made. But usually the pickups is the big thing. If the neck and electronics are in good shape, just change the pickups, man. You can transform into a $400 instrument in something that's equivalent to $1,500. You know, so don't get fooled by just what it says. Just test the pickups and make sure the electronics are okay. That's it.
Yeah. We worked on this bass.
Yeah.
It's a nice sounding bass now.
Yep. And change the strings.
Because a lot of the times he's got a Warwick rock bass, 5-string.
Yeah.
That's probably one of my favorite basses ever to record.
Yeah. But it's an active pickup bass.
Yeah.
So
But
you
the-
always
Oh, the
So
bottom
active pickups are always very good for bass, but you know, some people don't like active pickups. So then you have to use at least one with passive, but with good pickups.
Yep.
All
All
right.
right, there's our bass tone. We're moving right along. I'm gonna mute the bass there. Some electric guitar.
Alrighty, electric.
Avenue.
So now actually I only come in on the big chords, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, let me get you turned on. We're gonna rock down to. Okay. Dr. Tao. Can you pull up the Marshall Photo E? Okay, so we have our Mini K67X. I have it. It's hard to tell with the Marshall grill, but it is basically dead center of the cone. However, can you go to the next photo? I've got it back a little more than 6 inches. Started up close, and I just kept bringing it back till I got a sound that I liked. And I liked it being off the grill or off the mesh of the amp a little bit to let that sound kind of gather, and it builds a little bit as opposed to being right up on there and you get that proximity. Can you? Oh, you're typing.
Yeah.
He's gonna demo and he's over there typing. But this is something I've been doing a little bit more, and it all depends on style of music, sound you're going for. There's a lot of variables in all this. There is no one best way to do any of this ever. And matter of fact, lately we're trying to change things up as we're doing it a lot. I don't want to do the same things over and over. It just gets kind of boring, and you start getting the same type of sounds. So we've been experimenting with mic placement, especially on guitars. We did something. What was the recent thing we did? We literally had the mic about 2 feet away from the amp and cranked in the room, and it just sounded fantastic. Yeah. So point is, no one way to do this. Try some things out with the mics that you have. Experiment a little bit. You might run into some really unique, cool tones. Or you will, I guarantee it.
Yeah. And a lot of times,
I don't guarantee it, but
the old rules still are the ones that work.
Yes. Oh, yeah. There's nothing wrong with the old rules, but
Like the other day, we tried the 57, right? Further away just to test.
Oh, it's terrible.
And it didn't work.
Yeah, went right back up on the mesh of the amp. It was absolutely horrible.
So, yeah, condensers are better for further away.
Probably, yeah.
Anyway.
But if you don't have a condenser and all you have is a 57, try it anyway.
So, should I test this?
Yeah, let's hear what this sounds like. So it's a nice thick tone. We're going to get something cool with this. If I start you where the bass starts, is that cool?
Perfect.
Okay. All right, here we go. that's it for the electric. I'm going to do a quick... Oh, look at this. See, always turn your cell phone off. It's Mike. I'm going to automate real quick these acoustics down just a hair on that B section. We'll go down like... Yeah, we'll see what that sounds like. Okay. Let's hear that real quick. And there's Delilah. I think that is a little better. The acoustics aren't ripping my head off when it gets to those chords. I'm sorry, I just made every acoustic guitar player mad. So input 6. I'm going to get the next input set up. So get in 6. Out 7. Turn the bass down just a hair too. I like bass, but it was a little on the loud side. Ernesto, my lord. He's been called Ernesto so many times in the last week that I'm going to start calling him Ernesto. All right, so let's double up. So
Let's double, yep.
Couple things. Well, let's double and we'll talk in a second.
Yeah.
Here we go. Sorry, everybody. I had something turned off. Let me get that turned on. Sitting there going, ladies and gentlemen, we have a problem. Okay, now we're going to do it. Bye-bye, and here we go. Interesting. I'm going to take those acoustic guitars back up a little bit. I love diminished chords. Let's take a listen to this from the top. Not bad, especially for basically no processing.
And not,
You know.
and not bad for just doing it on a live stream.
Or an hour before, we're like, why doesn't this work?
Yeah. And no rehearsals.
One thing I noticed, and how I don't know if you hear the same thing, is with the 67X and the cymbals is pretty smooth.
Yep.
Like both of them seem pretty even, but you don't get it that harshness like that between that 6 and 8K is not jumping out. And even that ride cymbal, which those 2002s, they can get in your face sometimes. And it's actually, you just hear the nice stick attack on there, and it does a really good job. Really nice job.
Oh, yeah. 2012 MacBook Pro is the best older MacBook Pro money can buy.
Yeah.
What's the
We have
last
3 of 'em.
laptop that you could do anything to it? Everything after that is like soldered and shut, and then just
Yep.
breaks, throw it away.
Yep. So one thing with the doubling.
Yep.
Anybody know what a doublet is? You should go look it up, because it is a real thing, and it doesn't just mean, hey, let's double it. There's a thing called a doublet. But if you're going to do any sort of double guitars, electric, a couple things to keep in mind or to think about. If you only have one guitar, the important thing is 2 performances. What camera am I on? Where am I looking? GoPro? Perfect. The important thing is 2 separate performances played well together. So you get a real left and right. You can't just take one and copy it over to the right side. If you do that, then you got to start trying to use delays and other things to make that happen. Does that work? Yeah, it'll make it stereo, but it probably isn't going to make it what you want. You can track it like Eddie, and you can do that from the start where you're using a reverb or delay. That's another way to do it. But if you're going for a traditional, I want a left and right doubled guitar, you need at least 2 separate performances to make it work really well. Beyond that, if you have multiple guitars, you could change guitars. So you could have one guitar on one side and another on the other, which will help separate it even more. You could even try different amps if you have that. But at least 2 performances. And a lot of the times we'll use the same amp, and we'll just use this guitar and his Framus, and you get a very nice left and right image when you have well-played tracks. But sometimes a tweak on an amp also, maybe one of them's a little bit more mid, maybe you suck a little mids out of one or a little high or something, just to make it slightly different to give you a nice stereo image is the best way to do it. What we got?
Just talking about the Marshall speakers, 75
Well, share.
watts,
Share.
Yeah, I mean, Wade was saying that some people hate the 75 Celestions that are on the Marshall cabinets, and because this is the 300 watt version, and some people prefer the more vintage, like 30 watt or 120s overall. And depending on what the music you play, more wattage means better tightness in the low end. So if you like the speakers to break up, then you go for lower wattage if you like that sound. So I just like these because you can do whatever to them and they never break up.
Right.
So
Well, then the Framus cab has lower wattage speakers, so if we
Yeah.
wanted that, we could just switch cabinets.
so if you like low end, just go for more wattage. That's why bass rigs have like 300 watts. So or,
More bass.
or 500 watts.
We need more bass.
Yeah.
All right, so that's all the mics that won for this round. We will definitely do this again. I'll try to add some more mics, and I might even move them around just a little bit. But pretty much minimal processing. That's what our track sounds like. Two kits on the mic. Got 2 turntables and a microphone. 2 mics on the kit. There's a lot you can do with 2 microphones on a drum set. And the front mic does not have to be a kick drum mic. If you have another condenser that has a nice low and can handle the SPL or a ribbon mic, you can do what I call the front kit mic, which we would have done had a non-kick drum mic won out on this vote, where you're measuring the overhead and the front kit mic from the snare. So you get them equidistant so you have good phase. And then your front kit mic not only is a kick mic, but it also gets a little bit around the toms and the snare drum. You can do so many nice recordings with that setup. There's a lot you can do with 2 mics. It just comes down to the drummer. What's wrong with me? The drummer is the mix engineer, because there's only so much you can do after the fact. So you really have to balance it, get the tuning the way you want it, that sort of thing. But if you have those things covered, two mic setup actually. It's mono, but it's really neat. Once you start, I mean, listen to this when it kicks in. There's still a lot of meat in there. It's interesting how you start to forget about the mono drums as you listen to the other elements coming around, and you still hear the cymbals and all the normal things that you would on a regular setup, but the mono becomes less of an issue. At least for me it does. I kind of get lost in hearing all the other stuff, and you leave room for all the other stuff. There is nothing on the outside now competing with those electric guitars. And the acoustics are panned. Where am I panning those? I'm a little bit in. So it's like drums, acoustic, electrics, and it opens up a ton of space.
And then another layer we could add at the tail is just maybe on the electric a little tucked in, right?
Okay, you want to do that? Hold on. Let me get you a channel.
So just to make the last part a little bit different.
All right. I'll call it EGT mid.
So I'll change the pickup.
We're in 6, 7. I'll take you out 8.
So we'll do the center channel trick.
I'm gonna mute you for a second. Play.
So I'll have it a little bit.
I'll gain it here. Okay. You ready?
Yep. Just just.
And scene. Ooh, that's nice. That actually blends in there really nice. We should have done that exact thing in the original. Now, another thing to keep in mind, this is all dry. There's no reverb. Did you turn the reverb off on the amp too?
Yep.
So there is not 1 ounce of effects or anything anywhere.
Yeah, no production going on yet.
Nope, at all. It's just, maybe that would be a good little video to take this and do a little production on it. I don't know. That's interesting.
Yeah.
We can make that happen for sure.
Yeah. And let's put 300 plugins on it.
I don't have that many. Totally lying.
I mean, come on. The whole point of production is putting plugins on, right? It's like,
I'm going to do the same thing with analog. The kick is going to have 17 things on it. Every piece of gear I have. Yeah. But yeah, that might be a fun one to kind of do something with.
come on.
So, we miss anything?
No, I think this sounds pretty cool, man. Let's say, I think it competes with the studio recording.
Hey, we have a cowbell track request. You know what? I'm going to see if I can get Christopher Walken to come in and do the cowbell.
That's gonna be the hardest part. Playing time.
Well, because you got the retardando at the end, man. How you gonna cling, cling? Yeah, it's hard.
When and a cowbell is a very specific transient. It's very tight.
Then what do you do on the swell, right? What do you do with the cowbell there?
You put the stick inside it and you go.
This is.
All right, we missed any questions on anything?
Let's see. Sonic says, here's something cool for tracking drums in a small room. If you have extra speakers, run an aux reverb back into the room and you track. Record effect reverb is still moving air as versus a plugin.
Oh yeah, I've reamped drums that way to create room mics
Yeah,
and stuff
that's
if I
great.
didn't have it. Yeah, that's cool.
That's a cool little trick.
Yep.
I mean, Jesus, the big guys.
Ooh, that'd be a
did
fun
that.
one to add to this, actually. And now the speakers in the live room, they're hanging up in the ceiling, so we can really pump a lot of volume out there. That might be fun to do.
Oh yeah.
Make sure we didn't miss anything.
Cool. All right. Okay, guys. Any other questions? I mean, type, because this is the.
Make sure one. See if I missed. something
Ralph
here.
says double the cowbell.
All right, one thing coming up on the 26th. I was just checking to make sure. Boom. We're going to have a really cool live stream. David from homerecordingmadeeasy.com is going to join me. Ernesto's going to be out. So, well, I don't know. You could join us via,
Yeah.
You could come on in. Shit,
Yeah,
Zoom.
sure.
It's
I'll come in.
2022. We have these things called video cameras.
Yes.
I just called it a video camera.
I'll
I'm
join.
stuck in 1994.
Yeah. We can see if that horrible, I wouldn't say horrible, but if that beautiful Zoom setup works like a charm.
Yeah, well, I've got David's going to join us. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so we're going to, I had a great conversation with him about a month ago. I wish I would have taped that. What decade is it? Where am I at today? I wish I would have recorded that because it was an awesome conversation. And I expect the same thing from the live stream on the 26th. The guy's got a wealth of information. He's got a really cool YouTube channel. And he's got a nice studio, too. So we're going to have a lot of fun talking about that and hooking it up and hybrid setups and, the pitfalls of hooking up analog stuff for the first time. We are still working on the huge... What do we call it? We haven't even named it yet. This is going to be a huge live stream about hooking your studio up. We're going to cover patch bays, interfaces, what to look for depending on what size setup you have, how to plan forward, all sorts of things. We're going to be joined by my good friend Scott Francisco, who is an absolute wealth of knowledge on that subject, and a really killer engineer, and a great composer, and guitar player. I used to play in a band with him. I used to get my ass kicked by him in the studio.
Yeah.
We'll have some odd, funny stories there, because I thought that guy didn't like me the first session I did.
Okay.
Oh, man, he kicked my ass. Turns out he's one of my
they're
best
still
friends.
asking to give a quick shot about the drums. What we used?
Oh, can you, Dr. Tao, can you flip over to the drums real quick? Oh, can you go move that? Dr. Howe, they're both doctors.
Yeah. Doctor.
Doctor. Yeah, so the drums, PR48 on the kick, and it is slightly inside the hole, just maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches. And then the overhead is a Roswell Pro Audio Mini K67X. And Howe said it was about around his eye, so we're probably about 5.5 feet, close to 6 feet up. Which, if it was I was recording, I would have that a tiny bit lower, but it is obtrusive. It's not the most fun thing to play drums when a mic is literally staring you in the face. But it is pointed basically at the beater of the kick, so it's splitting the entire kit. Thank you, sir. Shay. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And
Drums are all Ludwig Classic Maple, 24, 13, 16, Black Beauty 6.5 by 14 snare, Peisty cymbals, 22-inch 2002 ride, Dark Energy Mark 1 crashes, I think 17 and 18-inch,
Yep.
and 15-inch Modern Essential, 602 Modern Essential hi-hats. And that's the setup.
And one overhead, right?
Yeah, just the one overhead. It's just the two microphones, which I actually kind of like recording that way.
Yeah.
We're gonna do this concept of what we did more, and we're gonna keep minimal sets on the kit so we can really just hear what these mics these mics sound like. And speaking of that, doing minimal setups like this is a great way to test whatever mics you have. This is a great way to learn how they sound on different sources. One mic on a kit, two mics on a kit, a little guitar, a little bass. How's it sound? And you'll start to learn how you can use your mics to help create the vibe that you want, create some emotion, kind of push things one way or the other.
Yep.
You're not, in my opinion, you're not always going for what's the best overhead, what's the best guitar mic, what's the, I don't even know what that means. you know, what's the best for the song, and sometimes it might surprise you.
Yeah, yeah. And yesterday we did the failed tape thing, and then we decided to keep the stereo drums, right?
Yep.
So
I'm not going to say a whole lot about that because that's going to come out. That'll be song 5 of songs from the studio. But we set out to do 4-track song number 2. It didn't work.
Yeah.
It just didn't work.
Yeah.
But the way we did the drums to record the tape was everything printed through a stereo track with some processing on it, and the bass was going to go with that. And we liked the drum sound so much, we went ahead and did that. So even though we went Logic, we didn't multi-track the drums. It's stereo track.
Yeah.
Done.
Done.
Which was kind of cool.
Done.
Well, it wasn't 2 mics. It was 2 channels. It was 9 mics.
Okay, little behind the scenes there, but just.
But that's song 5. That'll be coming out, you know, sometime in the next couple months. So.
Cool. Excellent. All right. Let's see.
Anything else? And then I think it's I'm hungry.
Yep. All right. LR Music. You guys rock from down under. Thank you, Australia. All right.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody showing up to these, and huge thanks to these guys back here today. You're on the GoPro, right? Yes. I miss having them around in here because it was always fun and made things so easy, and it's awesome to see you dudes again. Thank you. Thank you. Now I got to come back to Taiwan.
Yeah. And Brand, last question. You didn't want to do the Glyn Johns miking for drums?
Personally, it's not. Well, for this, no, because we wanted 2 mics. But personally, I'm not a huge fan of that setup. And I know that's blasphemous, and I cannot argue with the stuff that's been recorded that way. Sounds absolutely amazing. They did it great. It's not one of my favorites to do. Having said that, we should probably do something that way sometime. And then I can explain why it's not my favorite. It's not that it's bad, because it definitely isn't.
Yeah.
And, you know, there were a couple hits recorded that way.
Yeah.
They were minor hits.
Yeah. Cool.
You know, it's just not mine.
Excellent.
All right, it's time to go.
Yep.
Dudes, thank you to everybody. Thanks to these guys back here. You ready to go out? Let's do it. We'll see you guys next time, 26th. See you then.